Hello, my name is Paula Cox, and I'm here to do a book review today for you on Primal Leadership, a book written by Daniel Goleman, Richard Boyates, and Annie McKee. Daniel Goleman is the author of the international best-selling books, Emotional Intelligence and Working with Emotional Intelligence. He's a psychologist who's worked with the New York Times reporting on science and behavior. He's a visiting faculty member at Harvard University. He's the chairman of the Consortium for Social and Emotional Learning in the Workplace at Rutgers University, and he's received 2 nominations for the Pulitzer Prize. His Care Achievement Award from the American Psychological Association, and he's a fellow of the American Association for the Achievement of Science. Richard Boyates is also a professor of organizational behavior. He's the chair of the Department of Organizational Behavior at the Weatherhead School of Management of Case Western University. He's a previous associate dean for the Executive for Executives Education programs at Weatherhead School. He's a previous president and CEO of McBair and Company, and a previous COO of Yankelovich, Shelley and White. He's also a current board member for the Hay Group, and he's an author who's written a couple of books and numerous articles on motivation, behavior changes, and management development. Our third author is Annie McKee. She's on faculty at the University of Pennsylvania as the Graduate School of Education. She's a professor at Wharton School's Rusty Institute of Executive Education, and she's a business and organizational leader consultant, and in fact has done international work for the Hay Group. She's the managing director of the Center for Professional Development in the University of Pennsylvania, and she too is an author who's written numerous articles on emotional intelligence and the development at the corporate level of their leaders. So the purpose of this book, Primal Leadership, is to examine the use of emotional intelligence to develop primal leadership in leaders. It defines the role of emotional intelligence, and it can be used as a leadership strategy. The authors define the fundamental task of each leader, which is to pull positive emotions by interacting with their employees and to bring those positive emotions back out into the workplace to impact productivity and to create a positive environment. The idea is that it will inspire leaders to develop their own emotional intelligence and to inspire the development of that intelligence in their own employees. The target audience, therefore, are leaders and, of course, business educators and those involved in the development of such leaders. So the strengths, it's well written. It defines emotional intelligence. It's clear, concise. It demonstrates tables. It uses diagrams to really help the reader to understand the concepts that it's trying to present. It has examples of emotional intelligence in action, which is very helpful. And having said that, I will also say that there were multiple examples, and that was sometimes a weakness for this author. Specific development of the process for creating and teaching is mentioned and expounded upon, but it's a bit nebulous. It's difficult to understand the concept, and it's not put into concrete actions how to develop that process to sustain emotional intelligence. It relies on the idea of the primal leader really as the independent reason for a leader's success, and doesn't incorporate those other values that we know make a leader successful. Recommendations? This is a good read. I would recommend definitely a must-read for new leaders. It would also be an optimal tool for new leadership development to be taught in the classroom. And if you are in an organization that's struggling, if you have perhaps some cultural changes that are more negatively impacted, need to become more positive, this would be a good tool to use and a good read for that. And again, the graphs and the references, the charts that they present are very good reference material for this, for someone who wants to develop emotional intelligence. So I would say that the objectives were achieved. The book offered compelling evidence that primal leadership is key to success in the leader and in the organization. It offers convincing research that the idea of emotional intelligence is a physiological response between the employer and the employee, the leader and the employee, and that it can lead to the creation of a positive environment. It supports a self-directed approach to teach and incorporate emotional intelligence into leaders in really most settings. And so I would say, yes, it's a good read. Enjoy emotional intelligence and primal leadership.